watching Maasranga News. This is Tulan Hayat with the headlines. Teachers, students and others protest against the alleged leak of question papers in various national examinations. BNP chairperson Khaleda Zia pays her respect to the founder of BNP, Ziaur Rahman, on his 33rd death anniversary. And Ukraine's president-elect vows to punish pro-Russian rebels after they shot down an army helicopter near the town of Sloviansk. Those were the headlines, now the details. Popular fiction writer and teacher Professor Zafar Iqbal has staged a sit-in against the alleged leak of question papers in various national examinations at the Shohid Minar premise on Friday. The renowned writer began the sit-in at around 8 a.m. with his wife Yasmin Haq. A number of students and teachers of various institutions later joined him in the protest. From the sit-in, the protesters declared a deadline for taking actions against the alleged leak on next Friday. If no satisfactory actions are taken by then, the protesters threatened to stage another sit-in on that very day. BNP chairperson Khaleda Zia has paid her respects to the founder of BNP, Ziaur Rahman, on his death anniversary. Khaleda, flanked by top party leaders and activists, laid wreaths on Zia's grave and stood in a minute's silence. She also took part in a special prayer held there. Party spokesperson Mirza Fakhru Islam Alamgir inaugurated a blood donation program on the day, while Khaleda distributed food among the destitute. She went to the Mohammadpur Town Hall and Shohid Park grounds from there. The BNP is in the midst of a 2-week program since May 27th to observe the anniversary. The Mizan Tower at Kollanpur in the capital has been inspected by a team of experts from Bulletin. After the inspection, they claimed that there should not be any new explosions. The team is scheduled to inspect the structure for a second time later in the afternoon. Afterwards, the findings will be disclosed. The septic tank of the multi-storied building had an explosion on Wednesday, then another one on Thursday. Dismissed RAB officers Colonel Tariq Saeed and Major Arif is scheduled to be brought to court on Friday as their 8-day remand has expired. Police has said that they would ask for an extension of their remand. The other arrested officer, Navy Commander M.M. Rana, is still in remand in connection with the abduction and murder of 7 people in Nayanganj. The arrested officers were dismissed from RAB 11 for their alleged involvement in the murder. Court has granted 5 days of remand to Awami League leader Belayat Hussain in connection with the murder of Upazila Chairman Ikramul Haq. Police brought Belayat and asked the court for a 10-day remand. Justice Khairul Amin granted a 5-day remand instead. Meanwhile, the local wing of Awami League organized a special prayer to be held at the party office in memoriam of the slain chairman. Special prayers were also held at local mosques after the Jummah prayer. At least 10 people have died and 30 others injured in lightning strikes at various places on Friday. 5 of them died when lightning struck at a local market in Nauga's Mahadevpur Upazila. Another woman was killed at Porsha Upazila of the district. Meanwhile, 2 more in Shariatpur and 1 each in Chapainawalpunj and Brahmanbaria were also killed by lightning strikes. The injured have been taken to local hospitals. The International Monetary Fund (IMF) has approved disbursement of $140 million to Bangladesh under its Extended Credit Facility (ECF) program. According to an IMF press release, the executive board of the IMF gave the approval on Thursday at a meeting held at its headquarters in Washington, D.C. The executive board's decision enables the immediate disbursement of an amount to Bangladesh. This would bring the total disbursement under the arrangement to little over $704 million. The decision was taken without a formal board meeting. Now we move on to international news. Ukraine's President-elect Petro Poroshenko has vowed to punish pro-Russian rebels after an army helicopter was shot down by them, killing 12 people. In a statement issued late on Thursday, Petro said, "These criminal acts of the enemies of the Ukrainian people will not go unpunished." The helicopter was shot down near the eastern city of Sloviansk. An army general was among those killed. Sloviansk has seen fierce fighting between the rebels and Ukraine's army. Russia has reiterated calls for Ukraine to stop its military campaign against the pro-Moscow rebels and start a real national dialogue. In a separate development, Ukraine, Russia and the EU are due to open a new round of talks in Berlin on resolving a growing dispute over Moscow's gas supplies to Kiev. Japan will push for a greater role in Asian security at a regional summit on Friday in a move set to anger China. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe is expected to promote Japan as a counterbalance to China at the three-day Shangri-La dialogue in Singapore. The summit involves the US and ASEAN countries and comes amid territorial disputes in the South China Sea between China, Vietnam and the Philippines. Japan-China ties are also strained over disputed islands in the East China Sea. Japanese Premier will give the keynote address at the Shangri-La Dialogue, which is also known as the Asia Security Summit, on Friday evening. He is expected to set out a vision of Japan and its ally, the US, playing a greater role in security cooperation in Asia. Regional defense officials and US Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel will be present at the event. World food prices rose in the first quarter of the year for the first time since their all-time high in August of 2012, according to the quarterly food report published by the World Bank on Friday. The